Welcome to the channel 831 Avo. Today live in Santa Cruz, California. With the Carmen Hass, also known as the Mendes Budwood right here. So I just worked 2 Carmen Hass, 2 Mendes. I have a batch already. Big old batch of Carmen Hass. This is like a hefty bag. And this is again going for another. Shout out to the one person tuned in. Appreciate the support, but yeah, check it out. Again, that's a young vegetative shoot. Take it off. It's going in right there. I would normally be outside, but mosquitoes are active right now. Pero aquí andamos, ya saben, guarachos piteados. So yeah, once again, Carmen Hass, Mendes Budwood. And you're trying to do this as fast as possible. This is weak, so even this is gonna come back. Preferably clean cut. This still too young. This is a sucker. This one has not flowered. The tree that this came off, it took a year off. And stay tuned for the long format video of how I worked both of these trees. This one just suckered out vegetative wise. There is some flower, but again, this one was actually shooting up, growing vertically, and again favored the lateral limbs that were holding flower, so I hard pruned it. Lots of mosquitoes right now. Yeah, Elias Alvarado said hi, welcome to the community, and Roberto Regueta, good evening. But yeah, this is the famous Mendes from Michoacan. It flowers twice. Again, recovering from at a young age. I want to say like a year and a half in ground. It set like 13 to 16 fruit, somewhere in between there for 14, I want to say. But again, it had 16 at one point, but finally matured like 14 or 13 of them. 14, I took one off and then harvested the rest, 13. And so it took the spring off. I pruned it back to the ring of buds. It'll have a collar of buds, and I'll show you right now. Each limb will have a ring of buds. I pruned it back, and it still got away. Vegetatively. There's a lot of suckers. But yeah, just so you have, like, look, that batch from one tree, and then even this bag from another. But I'm trying to cut them down so they fit in the fridge. Again, decrown. This is a little thin. I can make it work. I'll just kind of elbow it off of here. And again, this is a long one. But Four-K Synaptic said hi, what's up? But yeah, the house is still kind of warm and toasty, so I need to move fast. Not that it really won't really dehydrate that immediately, but the faster the better. And again, on my way over here, I was just jamming the AC. So yeah, they'll start to curl up and dehydrate faster with the foliage. What will I do? So tomorrow I'm hitting the fresher the better. So tomorrow I'm hitting a grafting job for sure. But then there's plenty of it. There's plenty available. Again, this is from a known tree, and they're healthy. So but what am I doing? I'm going to create multi-graphs. There's a couple of trees and 15s that I have myself that I know I can multi-graft, and then some gorilla grafting. I see some seedlings out in the wild. I'm gonna graft again as part of my fruit tree graffiti segment. Okay, I want to be the local hood figure. I want to be that local hero and just plant gems and Carmens everywhere here locally. Come through, save us from the famine. They're saying famine, bro, but who knows? Everything's all gloom and doom on the internet. But we ain't starving when I'm around. If I'm around, we're not starving, bro. Nah, I'm good. I can produce lots of food. Again, I'm moving slow. Ideally, you just want to kind of... But even then, this something like this, I've gotten it to push. I've been muted? Is that for real or someone's trolling? But nah, no hate speech. For realsies. That was a good one, bro. So it's with permission, bro. It's with permission. I have grafting requests. And just bag it up. But yeah, this is harvesting budwood, something like this. Again, you want it to be rigid, and then you want 3 or 4 buds, which these are underexpressed, but they'll still work. So yeah, if you need some budwood, let me know. Comment down below. But yeah, tomorrow I'm hitting a local ranch, a local family farm. They want their seedlings grafted. I've gotten something like this. It's young and tender. Now this is too tender, but sometimes even leafed out, I've gotten them to continue to push. All right, there's a good bud right there, nice and sharp, firm. Another one right there, another one right there. So, and then a little too tender, but I can make it work. But yeah, stay tuned. More multi-graft videos coming soon. Now that I have good budwood, plenty of good budwood. Hey Paps, what's up, bro? Hey, check it out, bro. Carmen has budwood, so stay tuned. Grafting jobs tomorrow. Jam, no, Carmen has. I worked two Carmen Hasses, right? Two Carmen Hasses out in Mendez. One of them's my uncle, and one of them's an old neighbor. And this one in particular suckered out. It took a year off. We forced it to hold fruit at a young age. The spring, it just didn't even flower, and then I pinched and hard pruned back to the ring of buds. And let me show you. I don't think these are gonna have any, but there's gonna be here. There's gonna be some elbows at these intersections that are full with buds. I pruned it back to these elbows. Estos codos, bro. These codos. Again, this one doesn't have them. Let me keep looking. But I brought it back to the ring of buds, and in the ring of buds, that's where you're gonna get the mixed buds. You see a little bit of it right here, but if you missed a bloom, bring it back to this ring of buds, and that's where you're gonna get the mixed buds. Vegetative and flowering buds. So that's what happened. It was recovering on a recovery year. Not a recovery year again, because it flowers twice a year. So it was recovering during spring. It was heavy loaded with like fruits in the 14, around 14. It had like 16. I harvested one early to gauge where the crop was, and then took like 13 off. And so it took the spring off, and it just shot up vegetative growth. But again, you don't want your tree to get away from you. And so I brought it back, and it's gonna, I favored the limbs that are holding flower, and got rid of these chupones. What they call in Spanish chupones, which are vegetative suckers. Again, this is the desired cultivar. This is Carmen Hass, but you don't want the vigor to just happily get away just growing vegetative shoots. You want to pinch and prune to stress it to produce. But yeah, you scored on a nice gem, bro. Pabs, if you're still on, congrats on your gem. And thanks for showing up, bro. Appreciate the support for sure. Yeah, I thought that the Carmen Hass would underperform, but again, you'll see in a long format video that Carmen Hass is actually producing decent sized fruit. But yeah, just defoliating, just taking all the leaves, defoliate to preserve them so they don't dehydrate, because the leaves are thirsty. So defoliate, but tomorrow I'll cut it down even further into a Ziploc bag. Again, I'm going to use some of it tomorrow. De volada en caliente, the sooner the better. The fresher the better for sure. So I'm going out tomorrow morning. And yeah, those seedlings are already grafted with gem, so this is gonna convert those trees into multi-grafts, and it's gonna be, well, one of them's gem lamb. There's 6 of them. The first row is gem lamb, followed by gem, 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 and then the 6th is a seedling. There's a crop of some seedling fruit. It flowered for the first time ever, and then I left the seedling fruit. I kept their crop, and then multi-grafted some gem. But even then, there's a lot of louts, there's a lot of limbs. I'm gonna top work it with some Carmen has. So it's gonna be gem lamb, gem, 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 and then over here now multi-grafted with 3 varieties: the host tree seedling, gem, and Carmen. So they're all lined up in a row. Hey, appreciate it, bro. You took a nice tree. You took a nice tree, so congrats for sure. I went that day. I grabbed 3 sleeves, the Southern California sleeves, but then the next day I went back for a 15 as well. And then continue to bag it up. And yeah, stay tuned, more grafting videos coming soon for sure. I want the glasses to better capture the infield grafting footage, so stay tuned. I might go for the Oakleys, the Meta Oakleys. Once again, this is Carmen Hass, one of Mexico's leading varieties. It flowers multiple times a year. Here I've been seeing twice, spring and a fall. And so the theory behind that is, if our spring, especially right here in the northern central coast, if our spring's a little muggy and pollinator activity is low, resulting in no fruit set, well, then you'll recoup and get a crop on a fall bloom set when everything else is going to sleep. All other deciduous fruit trees are going to sleep. Your Carmen Hass will be entering its second bloom in the fall, and it'll be buzzing with pollinator activity. And this is what this tree is about to do. Happy birthday, homie. Happy birthday, homie. Carmen's in 15s. They're gonna have some that are locally grown, but then there's a second shipment coming up mid next month. So hit them up, bro. Hit them up, and if not, maybe it's early enough where you can put an order through. But they're going for a second tree haul. And if not, if you have anything that can, if you have any established trees, well, I'll graft it for you, bro. I'll graft it for you. Call the nursery and leave your number, bro. And then I'll hit you up and I'll do the same. But yeah, there is some 15s again, local grown 15s, which I've planted and they've done well. But if you want like a bigger established tree, well then yeah. But actually, I hear that Carmen struggles in high heat. So their trees might not be any better than ours, actually. I don't know. Now that you're mentioning it, I haven't seen them. I've seen the reeds, I've seen the gems, I've seen the Hass. But you're right, I haven't seen... I'm not saying they don't have them. But maybe they just don't convince them enough to pull them through. But yeah, there's some local grown 15s that again planted. We've been seeing, again, not that you want to do it, but after a year in ground, on a 15, after a year in ground, you'll see fruit set. But again, I would recommend not to let it hold. But if you're eager to see a crop, then thin by half, and they're still able to grow vegetatively wise to where they'll keep pushing. Or Gwen, nah, no Gwens in 15. Gwen, stay tuned. I'm thinking they're gonna get some Gwens next year. I mean, on the next delivery. But yeah, they didn't even get Gwens in sleeves to where they could can them up in 5s. There is a couple 5s from last year, but I don't really like scragglers. I go for the leading performing ones. But yeah, Gwen is a must for sure. Gwen is the UC Riverside Breeding Foundation, and I'm basically recreating the same breeding program for us here in the Northern Central Coast, 831. Now expanding to the 408. But yeah, I'm running my little avocado breeding program for sure. Again, always pairing 1 or 2, for sure. I'm sorry, 1-2 combo, or coming in with the multi-graft. If it's a well-established seedling, I'll come in with, again, our leading varieties here. My number 1 is the Gem. Carmen Hass, again, on the fact that it flowers twice. And then I'm going to go Gwen. A little bit of a trickier tree. Not disease prone, but it's just kind of, it'll be kind of droopy for a while. And then, the 4th one is going to be Lamb Hass. I'll go Gwen over Lamb Hass because Lamb Hass is played out. It's been around since 89, and so it's pretty common. A lot of people have Lamb Hass, but I'll go Gwen. And again, Gwen didn't fully commercialize on the fact that it's a trickier tree. But I'll go Gwen, again, recreating the UC Riverside breeding program. Lamb, and then the 5th, my outcross, is going to be the Guatemalan Reed. So those 5 right there, again, self-fertile type A, but the fact that you have more than one, for sure they'll cross-pollinate. And you'll get more fruit set. I don't go AB. I go AA all the way. Again, those highly precocious self-fertile varieties. Just decrown. The solid 5, yeah, for sure. I would call that our solid 5. But yeah, you're right in wanting to get a bigger Gwen, especially for over the hill, because they are a little less heat tolerant. So it is better to start with the more mature tree for sure. That's a good plan right there. Yeah. Let me see if this was the chupon right here. I'm trying to show you that collar. And again, I'm not going to see it because I left it. Right here, you begin to see it, but it's a cluster of buds. Again, I didn't bring it with me. I left it on the tree because, again, that's where you're going to get your mixed buds. But yeah, you have to work your trees. Don't just let them get away with like happily growing vegetatively wise. In San Diego, it's going to be Fallbrook. In the northern San Diego County, it's going to be Maddock Ranch Nursery. Maddock Ranch Nursery. Now, I believe that's where they haul those trees from. And those are going to be, again, I was there 2 years ago. 15 was like $74, bro. So now they're hauling those trees up and flipping them. Rightly so, right? Because there's logistics behind it. But every time I'm down there, I'll always stop by Maddock Ranch Nursery. Because again, I'm bringing up 15 for the low. Less than $100, bro. But yeah, Maddock Ranch Nursery for sure. That's the spot. Yeah, and I myself, me tengo que poner las pilas, bro. I'm going to start working clonos. Bringing up clonos and then multi-grafting them. That's what's going to set me aside, the fact that I can multi-graft. And I'm going to be selling multi-grafted avocado trees for sure. Stay tuned, stay tuned. But I'm at 7%. My phone is dying. So we're just going to go till it dies. Again, some of it a little tender for my own liking, but I know I have. The first batch was good. This is the second batch I'm making, but the first one is even better. And again, stay tuned for the long video format on how I work these trees, how I prune them and shape them. You'll see. Pretty tedious, bro. Pretty tedious, but it's necessary work. Alright, and I'm going to cut this stream because it's already at 3%. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Pabs, appreciate the conversation. Everyone have a good night. Thank you. Peace. 11/11. Go wish that these grafts take, that this Scion Budwood takes. Peace.